Hello, my name is Valerie Proya, and I chose alcohol use disorder for my social issue. The common misconceptions about alcohol consumption is that it is safe in moderation, it is not a drug, and that consuming it can even be beneficial to your health. We might not think of alcohol when we think of the world's most addictive or harmful drug, but alcohol is up there, completely dwarfing narcotic drugs and mind-altering substances. Alcohol is a drug in every sense of the word, and just because it is legal in the United States and other countries does not mean it is harmless. Alcohol is an addictive, carcinogenic drug, and consumption is on the rise for women who are more sensitive to its detrimental health effects than men. Holly Whitaker says, "It is not drugs and alcohol. It is only drugs. Alcohol is not a separate, less harmful substance that needs to be identified separately from drugs. It is a psychoactive, neurotoxic, addictive narcotic. Call it what it is, and it stops being funny." Some terms for alcohol use disorder you may have heard are alcoholism, alcohol abuse, or alcohol addiction. According to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, alcohol use disorder is a chronic relapsing brain disease characterized by an impaired ability to stop or control alcohol use despite adverse social, occupational, or health consequences. Alcohol use disorder can range from mild to severe, and recovery is possible regardless of severity. The use of alcohol used to be illegal. Nationwide prohibition lasted from 1920 until 1933. The 18th Amendment, which illegalized the manufacture, transportation, and sale of alcohol, was passed by the U.S. Congress in 1917. In December of 1933, prohibition was repealed at the federal level with the ratification of the 21st Amendment. Earlier this year, stay-at-home orders intended to reduce transmission of COVID-19 caused another issue altogether, as most U.S. states designated liquor stores as essential businesses that could remain open for the pandemic. People decided to use alcohol as a coping mechanism, and it skyrocketed the national sale of alcohol by 262% from the year before in March 2019. With the COVID-19 pandemic, women have been disproportionately impacted, taking on a greater share of parenting, teaching, and household duties, and leaving the workforce at 4 times the rate of men. I know for me, this pandemic has been really rough as a sober woman, having to watch it blow up all over social media, and people that I know who used to drink in moderation now day drink and post about it online, glamorizing it as a much-needed tool for sanity. Excessive alcohol use is associated with more than 27,000 deaths among women and girls each year. Excessive alcohol use poses unique health and safety risks to females. Nearly half of adult women drink, and about 13% of them report binge drinking, and about 18% of the childbearing women binge drink. In 2019, about 32% of female high school students consumed alcohol, compared with 26% of male high school students. In 2019, 8% of women aged 18 to 25 years had an alcohol use disorder. The prevalence of binge drinking in the U.S. is quite high. In 2015, 26.9% of Americans ages 18 and older reported binge drinking at least once in the past month. That's 1/4 of our nation's adults misusing alcohol. The statistics for full-blown alcohol addiction in the United States are also quite concerning. According to research, about 15 million Americans meet the criteria for chronic alcohol addiction, and about 88,000 people die from alcohol-related deaths in the U.S. every year. That makes alcohol the 3rd leading cause of preventable death, killing more people than all drugs combined. As you can see, alcohol affects every part of our body. There is literally no part of us that is not affected negatively by the consumption of alcohol. Drinking alcohol increases the risk of cancers of the mouth, esophagus, pharynx, larynx, liver, and breast. The way we think about alcohol needs to change. We need to stop glamorizing alcohol and teach young women and the rest of society about the real dangers with alcohol use. Alcohol use is glamorized in the media by big alcohol, promoting their agenda and targeting women, showing fancy drinks in classy settings, or promoting the use of alcohol as a necessity for raising children. Mommy wine culture is a thing, and big alcohol began targeting women in the early 1990s, making fruity drinks to recruit more female consumers. According to a study done by the National Epidemiologic Survey on Alcohol and Related Conditions, the rates of high-risk drinking and alcohol use disorder in women have risen 83.7% between 2002 and 2013. Alcohol advertisements targeted towards women tend to avoid the all-too-common scenario of someone falling down the stairs, being sloppy drunk and slurring words. They do not mention people blacking out and then getting lost and passing out in compromising and often dangerous situations. They avoid the painful morning after and the humiliating and sometimes horrifying attempts of trying to piece together the night before. They tend to avoid the warning signs of developing alcoholism and simply advise people to enjoy responsibly. There are many resources to help with separating yourself from alcohol, no matter the severity of your problem. Alcohol.org provides several resources. One, for example, is Alcoholics Anonymous, and that is the most well-known recovery program that provides group meetings in most towns and cities all over the world. Some people prefer to achieve and maintain sobriety by means of social media connections and alcohol research, especially people that are more spiritual rather than religious. Instagram is a great tool for connecting with sober communities. The hashtag alcohol-free or sober is a good start in finding this type of community. New cancer prevention guidelines in June of this year from the American Cancer Society calls for no alcohol consumption. The last recommendation published was in 2012. They say that at least 18% of all cancer cases in the U.S. are related to alcohol consumption and poor diet. The reason I chose this social issue is because I have struggled with alcohol use disorder for many years myself. I was a mom just wanting to find connection and have fun, but let me tell you that it's not fun trying to be a good parent with a horrible hangover. I chose the Instagram route for my recovery, and I have been alcohol-free for 2 years. I have collected numerous sober friends in the last 2 years, one whom I met in this class, who I consider to be one of my best friends now. Surrounding myself with sober women really helps me stay on track. In Chapter 7 of our textbook, it suggests that drinking alcohol may be deviant. On page 149, it is mentioned that many people consider all drug use to be criminal or deviant behavior. It also talks about the problem with the perception of alcohol and the societal reaction to it determines deviance, since having martinis at a posh bar is perfectly acceptable, where drinking wine out of a brown bag on the street is not. Alcohol is a problem in our society in regard to health, economic burden, and global burden. The World Health Organization states that beyond health consequences, the harmful use of alcohol brings significant social and economic losses to individuals and society at large. Last but not least, the economic burden alcohol is exerting on the American economy is quite severe. According to the NIAAA, alcohol misuse costs the United States about $250 billion every year. No matter how alcohol is consumed, does not change the fact that it is a drug. Consuming it has detrimental consequences to your health, women even more so. There really is no safe amount to drink if you care about your health. Sobriety is beautiful, according to Laura McKowen, sober author. I will end with a quote of hers and another one that I love. Come with every wound and every woman you've ever loved, every lie you've ever told, and whatever it is that keeps you up at night. Every mouth you've punched in, all the blood you've ever tasted. Come with every enemy you've ever made, and all the family you've ever buried, and every dirty thing you've ever done, every drink that's burnt your throat, and every morning you've woken with nothing and no one. Come with all your loss, your regrets, sins, memories, blackouts, secrets. I've never seen anything more beautiful than you. The opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection.